Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. And today's video is of course going to be reacting to the Europa League news as we finally got what we have been waiting for. Our next opponent in the round 32 of the Europa League. Was it going to be this team? Was it going to be this team? I hope it's not that team. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it was the latter. As the round has been done, the opponent's been confirmed and the team that we face in the next round of the Europa League in the first knockout stage is Dortmund. That's right, people. I went ahead and said Dortmund. That was our present. That was our reward for finishing second in our Europa League group stage. We have been awarded by UEFA a trip and a game versus Dortmund. And I know the feelings are going to be very, very mixed. Some people's going to be absolutely delighted and buzzing and really can't wait for this game, whilst others will be looking at this present from UEFA hoping they went ahead and kept the receipt, because that bad boy is getting returned, and that present is honestly worse than the Links Africa set that we'll probably all get from random aunties in a couple weeks time. Now, disclaimer, I just want to apologise to any potential aunties or uncles who's already bought that gift to then gift to someone. They're going to love it, honestly, they'll love it. But we are actually here to talk about the football. That's why everyone's actually clicked on today's video. So we're going to try and discuss a little bit of everything, have a wee bit of fun with this tie and that as well, because I'm not all doom and gloom, because I know there will be a lot of people clicking on today's video, because I'll be honest with you, when I saw the name get ready, I felt it in the ticker as well, people, that it did feel like my plump bags just got absolutely rattled, because this, to me, is the toughest possible team that we could have drawn, because I think this is the best team that was in the actual list. Now, I know some people will maybe point to Barcelona and everything like that, and maybe on paper Barcelona are a bigger name on paper because of Messi, Neymar, Suarez. Over the years they built them to this mythical status, and they are one of the biggest names in football. I think you're absolutely right in saying that, but if you're looking at individual talent, if in fact you're just looking at players across the entire board, and if you're just looking at what happens on a football part, for me, the best team out of those two are Dortmund. So in my opinion, we've got the sarest possible draw we could have got. But where it takes away, it also gives and a perspective as well, because yes, this is the toughest game that we could have possibly got, but it's also new, one of the most exciting games new we've had in a very, very long time. Again, I'm not always want to go back to, but you look at the journey back and everything we fought through and all the places we've been and everything like that. The fact we're coming up here and playing Dortmund in the latter stages of a European competition, seeing one of the best players in world football right now by the name of Joe Rebo. He's going to be playing alongside the likes of Haaland. People, this is exactly what we all craved and wanted for so many years. When I was getting greyer and greyer, I thought of these types of days. Well, now it's coming, ladies and gentlemen, a blockbuster of all blockbuster. And can you imagine the fireworks and what the crowd and the atmosphere and everything that's going to be there? This is what football is all about, and this is what European football is all about. And listen, it's not just going to be the happy crowd and the sad crowd. There will also be a section of the Rangers support, maybe even clicking on today's video, a wee smirk or a wee smile on the wee nasher when they hear the name Dortmund versus Rangers, because we had a very, very interesting encounter with the likes of Gascoigne, red cards, exciting goals, good goals, all over the shop. My man Rod Wallace, you all know he was my first favourite player growing up. I just loved watching him play, how rapid he was. He was like the fastest player in the world. To me, he obviously scored that phenomenal goal versus Dortmund as well. So there is a lot of good feelings and excitement going in to this feeling. And again, this is what it's all about. And people, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm speaking about it for today's video, the more I'm feeling it right here in the old chisticles. And I'm just an idiot fan. People, can you imagine what the players are actually feeling? And I want to kind of navigate into that avenue as well, right? Because this right here, as we've talked about already, is a massive blockbuster game, right? You could see this game anywhere. It's a classic game. It's two massive football clubs. This is one of these games that every single player will be wanting to be involved in. And as it's not next week or the next game up, as it is a couple of months away, and again we'll break down the details of where and when and what blah blah and blah 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 and throughout today's video, but there is a couple of months before this game, and what a carrot to dangle in front of these Rangers players to keep the levels where they're at, because since Giovanni has come in, every single player in my opinion has took a step up, and they're right up here, they're busting their ass, they're wanting to impress the new manager. But sometimes that can fade as the weeks come and the games come and everything. You've seen it in football before. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this gift from UEFA, they've gave us that in a 2 months window just to keep that swinging in front of these Rangers players, that they need to keep the levels up here, people, for the games that's happening every 3 days against the teams that you should be beating every 3 days to keep your level right up here, to be given an opportunity to play against the likes of the Haalands, the Marco Reus's, the Hazards, you know, the good one these days. What an opportunity, what a gift it is for these players to have that chance. And for us fans, we've got the perfect thing to actually see, because no one will be able to have a jogging afternoon or let their levels drop, because the guy that's waiting to come on from the bench, if they didn't perform, will be looking to grab headlines and work their way in to earn the right to go out there and play against and start against some of the Europeans' best players. People, so when I think about it from that perspective and the mental aspect for these Rangers players, this is sensational for our football club as well, and keeping the players' levels not even at just where they're at, but keeping them pushing and pushing and pushing, so they're playing against Dortmund in a couple months. But before I get to the old end of the video and everything, I think we do need to speak a wee bit more about this Dortmund side. I think we will. I've kind of made a couple of wee jokes around them or anything like that, but I think we do need to mention the fact that big Haaland will be here. And I want you to look at that picture right here, because you know what I see when I look at that picture? I see a man raising his hands because he's scared of Calvin Bassey. Because you might look at that absolute cyborg and see what he's doing at the ridiculous level, and because honestly, no BS or that for me is the prototype of a forward. That guy is absolutely ridiculous, and where he's going to go in football if he remains injury free throughout his career and everything like that, he could go genuinely as high as anyone's ever went. I genuinely think when I look at that laddie, that is where he can actually go. You look at his numbers throughout his entire career this season so far, just the 17 goals in 14 games with 5 assists. And when you take a break away from just this season, if you look at his entire career, this man has played 167 games. He has scored 123 goals with 33 assists tickled in to the old boot, which if you slap those together, that is 156 goal contributions in 167 games. That is ridiculous. But do you know what I notice throughout those stats and statistics? Not one of those goals or goal contributions has ever went beyond that man right there and go beyond this guy in itself, because they might have a Haaland, people, but we've got a Calvin Bassey. When the most irresistible force meets the most immovable object, that is what we're going to see colliding on February the 17th. Oh man, I need Calvin to have a good game now. I just need him to have a good game. But all fun and jokes and all that to one side, we know how difficult this game is actually going to be. And that first game will be the 17th of February away to Dortmund, in one of the most iconic stadiums there is, and the most iconic atmosphere there is. The old yellow wall and everything like that, the songs, the chants. It's just going to be such an incredible thing to actually be able to watch. And then the next game, obviously the return leg, will be the next game week on the 24th of February. And you talk about goosebumps right now. I'm starting to feel like, can you imagine what Ibrox is going to be like when you're seeing the stars that will be gracing the Ibrox surface on that beautiful European night? Honestly, it'll be incredible to see those stars. And you know what? The Dortmund players are no bad as well. But you could probably tell there's a lot of mixed feelings. Obviously, a little bit down because it is obviously the most difficult game, but also excited and buzzing the fact that we've got here as a football club and we are playing some of the best in Europe, people. And I am buzzing. I can't wait. I wish I could skip forward to actually be talking and experiencing the game. But again, we do have a couple months to wait to this massive European game, and that's a perfect opportunity for these players to use whatever minutes they get on the park to show why they should be playing on the 17th and the 24th of February. And that for me is the biggest takeaway for me. What a motivating factor that will be for the players, no matter the result or whatever that actually happens in the game. And this run up now has a massive carrot dangling in front of these boys, and I can't wait to see how they chase after it. Now, before we do wrap up today's video by jumping over to the people on Twitter, there is one last little bit of fun fact trivia. And if you watched the Football Manager series over the last couple of years, you'll know this already, but I'm sure you've probably seen it now online, but we obviously talked about it. It became a sort of meme in the old Football Manager thing. But there is one massive link between Dortmund and Rangers, and that is by the name of Giovanni Reyna. He is a Dortmund player, very, very talented player, a little bit unlucky with injuries lately, but he's honestly fantastic. But that name, Giovanni Reyna, should bring a smile to a lot of Rangers fans' faces, because that is of course the son of Claudio Reyna, who came here and was a fantastic, maybe a wee bit underrated in what he was actually able to bring in a Rangers shirt, but a fantastic player in himself. And that's of course his son. But it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't just stop with the father and son dynamic, people. Nah, there's another little bit of nugget of information, because see that first name of his, Giovanni, do you know why he's called that? people, because of the friendship and the bromance and the relationship that was built between Claudio and our manager Giovanni during that season. That's right. One of the players that will be playing against us on the 17th and the 24th of February is literally named after our manager. Oh my God, Quentin Tarantino couldn't you write this bad boy? And that's all really good to say. I just wanted to have fun and react and everything. But obviously when the previews come, we'll break down the game and we'll talk about maybe how they underestimate us a little bit and everything. Like, we'll kind of talk about that when the preview comes. But I just wanted to give you my honest, initial reactions, my gut reactions, and throw in a cheeky couple of wee one-liners and all that as well. But that is my reaction to the massive blockbuster draw between Dortmund and Rangers. What about you? Let me know down there in the old comment section below. Whilst you're hopefully sharing your opinion, it's time to jump over to Twitter and read from the people. And the first one comes in from Kyle Van C. Nice to see Van Kyle. Anyway, he writes an easy. Bassey pocketing him. Haaland and Gio Reyna scoring a hat-trick of own goals. Simple as. Seriously though, it's the toughest team that we could have got, but it'll be a good laugh and a good test for these players and a management team. Spot on there, Kyle. GVB RFC writes, in the one team I would have preferred avoiding, but if Sporting Lisbon can beat them, then Giovanni Ball can. Love the confidence here, man. I'm loving the confidence. Jacko just writes an unreal. That's right, mate. Bugger. That comes in from Jack. Different ends of the spectrum a little bit there. Robert Edgar writes in, well, it's about time we got someone to challenge Bassey. Two of the best atmospheres in Europe. Bring on the glamour ties at Ibrox. Fantastically put there for your man. Robert Jamie's the next one in, and he writes in, massively excited by the spectacle, but I'm not expecting too much of the old performance. Get out. Jonathan Harrison writes, it's good to be mental when Morelos bullies Hummels into retirement and Haaland gets passed about in Goldson and Bassey's back pockets. I love that. Can you imagine Hummels? Hummels is at 87 years old. One shoulder barge for Alfredo Morelos and the man will dust like a vampire for Buffy. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, what reference that was, by the way, I like it. The last one we'll actually read out comes from Scott Cullen, and he writes in, with the format of it being this year, you're guaranteed a tough draw unless you win your group. It will be an experience and a really tough game, but I'll always believe we can beat anyone on our day. And what a perfect way to actually end it. And again, we'll break down the game in more detail when the time for the previews and everything like that. We have a wee bit more body work to look at, Dortmund. But that is it. That is our initial reaction. You've heard from the people. You've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I've been CJ Novo 992. That has been a Rocky Boy Johnson staring at me wanting to go his walk. So I better wrap up today's video. Take care of yourselves, everyone. All the best and bye-bye.